What is up, everybody? I am Mega Short Fuse, and today we are sort of revisiting something that you might consider old. Now, I know it's the end of April, but we almost recently got news that a Mass Effect 3 DLC will in fact come, and it will be in the form of, well, I'm gonna explain that. This is gonna be my follow-up thoughts on the Mass Effect 3 DLC and I think it's actually going to entail. Now, first things first, the Extended Cut DLC is not the actual DLC we are looking for. The Extended Cut is just, how can I put this? It's just explanation on top of the ending we already got. It's not an actual ending DLC. And let me tell you what I think the ending DLC is actually going to be like. Now, this might go into spoiler territory, depends on what I want to talk about. And as always, I should mention, the gameplay isn't that important. This is what you do when you want to play for approximately 15 minutes, get 1% in Galactic Readiness, and fail spectacularly in a blaze of glory while you get shit-stomped by some Geth. This is the patented Excalisaur's Vanguard 2 phase setup as usual. YouTube it, you will not be disappointed. Now, the actual ending, many of you know, was unsatisfactory to some, blatantly stupid to others, and in my case, head-scratchingly confusing due to the plot holes. I'm not gonna go into those. You already probably pointed them out, figured them out for yourself. What I want to talk about is sort of what BioWare is planning on doing with it. Now, they're not gonna change it. We know as much. It's not gonna get changed. It's gonna get explained, and the Extended Cut DLC is gonna do just that. Expand a little bit upon what's already established. Most importantly, is going to build up hype. Hype for the eventual DLC that will come on the quote-unquote, I think, canonical ending that we got, where if you get a lot of galactic redness, I think, or something along those lines, you get the Shepard's alive ending still on Earth, and that spawned the indoctrination theory. What is the indoctrination theory? Again, I'm not going to go into detail because the gameplay isn't nearly long enough for me to explain it. It's basically a what-if scenario in that it suggests that Shepard never left Earth, which is supported by the sort of little cutscene at the ending where Shepard takes a breath. It says that the whole ending sequence is you fighting indoctrination. And it makes sense if you look at the evidence. And I think what BioWare is planning on doing is actually, it was right there from the very start, but none of us looked at it in the way I looked at it like a couple of days ago. And this is why I'm making this. I think we're part of an elaborate ARG, an augmented reality game. What BioWare is doing, in my opinion, is that they left an ending open to interpretation and then dropped a bombshell in the simple fact that Shepard may still be alive. Now, BioWare, I think, doesn't know or didn't know what to do with it. You know, they were like, what if we just put a scene at the ending, then look at the feedback and you know, construct an ending DLC around it. That might sound familiar. Valve does that, actually. I learned that quite recently, and that's what brought this to my attention. Valve is really big on, you know, putting out trailers, putting in as many references as they can, and then constructing a story around what the fans think on the forums. And if BioWare does that, it might be one of the most brilliant instances of interactive storytelling we have ever witnessed as a community, as a gaming community. And that not only was Shepard indoctrinated, we were also in a sense indoctrinated, because if you think the ending went against everything Mass Effect stood for in some cases, that might be because we were all part of the illusion. I mean, come on, how many of you chose the blue ending just because, oh, I'm playing a Renegade, a Paragon Shepard, might as well go with what I already know? You were indoctrinated, and hell, I was. I was acting like an idiot because it was so confusing. I'm like, I'm just gonna go based on the color scheme, and lo and behold, I choose control, which can't happen. We know for a fact can't happen. So what the DLC is going to be in a nutshell is probably Shepard's waking up on Earth and ending the game for realsies with the happy endings some of us desired. You know, take that as you will. You might say that, you know, having an ending as open to interpretation and as controversial as the one we already got is enough so that we don't complain about it. I say bring on the other options, because the one we got didn't make a lick of sense, and it was unsatisfactory in some cases. I'm not gonna whine about it, although I sort of am right now, but, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. It's going to be an answer to the prayers, in a sense, so that everybody gets what they paid for. And that leads me on to what it might be in terms of fan reaction. One of you pointed out that no matter what, you might buy it, and let me just give my 2 cents on that for the rest of you. I think that if they give it out for free, it's going to be that masterpiece in interactive storytelling I just mentioned. However, if they pay for it, no matter how good the story is, it might come off as cheap. I certainly feel it's going to come off as cheap, because no matter how much how good it is quality-wise, I'm sorry, I just sort of jumbled up my words in my mind. No matter how good it is quality-wise, it's still gonna cost something, and we might perceive this as getting ripped off. It's only normal. I mean, if it was DLC that adds upon the story, cool. If it's the actual goddamn story itself, the conclusion, like freaking Ghost Trick. That's an example no one has heard of, but Ghost Trick is a game that was originally on the DS. It's now on iOS. And what it does is you get the first 2 episodes for free of the game. It's a visual novel of sorts, and then you can pay for the rest of the game in chunks. Cool. But this is a big budget title. This is one of the biggest titles of the year. And if we get that bullshit for an actual ending, like, oh well, then what we showed you isn't true. If you want a canonical ending, $5. No matter how good it is, that might piss you off. Tell me that will not piss you off. It does on some level, and we can all act like adults. We'll be like, cool, we got a quality story. I guess we can shell out something for it. I mean, if we get closure, we get closure. If we have to pay for it, hell, we'll pay for it. I understand that. However, I do not agree with it, because I'm really trying to think of any way I don't get into idiot territory, meaning that I don't want to come off as an idiot on this issue, and I feel like I already am, in a sense. But, again, if they do that, it's gonna come off as more opportunistic and asshole-ish, rather than a genuine attempt to get you the end of the story. That's the bottom line. If they charge for it, it's gonna seem asshole-ish. It's gonna seem like a pure marketing ploy, and there's nothing wrong with making money, but there is something wrong with exploiting your fan base by dangling the ending in front of their face and then be like, whoa, it's not the real one. So yeah, those are my 2 cents in it. Summary, we're getting a DLC ending. The extended cut is a prelude to it. It's going to hype it up so that more people buy it. The quality of it isn't an issue here. It's gonna be great. I feel, because BioWare telling a story is always great. But depending on if there's a price or not, the reaction is going to be very, very on the opposite ends of a spectrum, if you will. Since I have some time to fill, and I really wanted to touch upon this, if you heard my 2 cents on the ending, you can stop listening now. What I'm about to talk about is, this kind of ties into the gameplay, because it is Mass Effect. I saw Battleship. And, I think they owe BioWare some of that cold hard cash, because the aliens in Battleship use, every time they pop up, before they get introduced for realsies, they use, very specific, music that you might encounter in a certain game about certain Reaper-like creatures attacking a certain universe, galaxy, or they ripped off the fucking sound to Mass Effect, okay? Most of the sound effects I heard are from Mass Effect, but that doesn't deteriorate from the movie's quality. Let me tell you now, Battleship is, dare I say it, and please, God, do not crucify me for this. Battleship is good, okay? I went in with no expectation. I was like, this is the very proof that Hollywood has ran out of movies. I'm gonna enjoy this for what it's worth. For what it's worth, it's awesome. The acting isn't too bad. I mean, hell, I didn't even know Rihanna was in it. But, hey, everybody does their parts. I really, really wish Liam Neeson had gotten more screen time because he milked that role to death. He was like, I'm getting paid for it either way, might as well ham it up. And boy, did he ham it up. The movie's ridiculous. The movie is stupid. I'm the first one to report, and I am happy to say that it does get the a variation of "you sunk my battleship" into the damn movie. I mean, we can't have that now, can we? And it works in the grid very, very forcefully. The battleship board game grid into the movie. It was painful to watch when they tried to actually, you know, reference that it comes from an actual board game because it's way too convoluted and stupid. My advice: watch it. But please, God, turn your brain off. Or hit yourself in the camera until your IQ is in the double digits area. Because you cannot... If you start thinking about it, you'll get way, way too distracted about the plot holes to even care. But yeah, Battleship, insane, stupid, worthwhile, strangely. And I have ran out of steam. So, thank you for watching. There's no point to actually ending this because the next round we get decimated in a spectacular fashion. I might just there's no reason to put it in there because hey, I'm an idiot. I haven't played Mass Effect in what, a month, certainly not the multiplayer, and I always play with Vanguard 2-Face. I always play with this setup of just biotic charging the crap out of everything, and it always ends in failure at about round 7 unless you're playing with people who are competent or magic happens. I don't know, I always get crushed by something. So yeah, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you haven't. Hell, if you enjoyed this rambling and explanation of what I think is going to happen in the future, support this insane cause, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.